What's up, guys? Welcome to Roensch Capital Charts. Today we're taking a look at advanced micro devices, ticker symbol AMD, on a variety of time frames in anticipation of tomorrow's trading day, Friday, February 2nd. Well, the stock up today, 1.66%. That's 2 points, around $2.79, we'll call it. Up a little bit after hours as well on the grind higher here. Remember, this is lower volume, so as always, whether it fits your bias or is going against your current sentiment, take after hours volume with a grain of salt, but the stock is currently marked higher. Let's take a quick zoom in here on this morning's movement. I just want to point something out to you guys. There were a couple of opportunities for a potential scalp. Like you have this C1, 2, 3 rejection. This did open up decent opportunity for a scalp. Again, if that did fit within your necessary channel width for whichever particular reward to risk ratio you may have been running. This is not one that I was personally watching just because the previous setup rejections here off of the 2 standard deviation volume weighted average price band were a little bit light for my specific ratios. But I know for a fact that there were quite a few scalpers, I'm sure, who faded this move here for a quick little couple minute trade there. If you guys do want to come trade with us each day, get scalp setup alerts, unusual options, activity alerts, and platinum one-on-one. The link to join the Roensch Capital Gold server is in the pinned comment. But let's move on here and take a look at the volume on the 5-minute to get a much better idea of how we should feel about this move here today. So we look here, let's compare to yesterday. You can see that the volume off the open was much, much lower, of course. And for me, like from a bullish perspective, I actually see that as a pretty good thing because we faded just slightly off the open. And then we ended up holding that 166.25 region until about mid-morning once we started to finally pull away. Now the volume in the afternoon was actually, if you average it out, it was actually pretty similar to yesterday after we had that much lower volume there in the morning compared to yesterday. So that's really, really interesting because as the stock moves higher, right, if you're a bull, you want to see that occurring on better volume. You know, if the stock's pulling back and you're long, you don't want that to be on high volume. You want as small of a sample size on the moves that go against you as possible. If you guys have a quick second while you're listening, go down to the comment section, leave me a comment, let me know what kind of stocks or which tickers I suppose you'd like to see covered here in the future. Even if it is just AMD, that feedback is very helpful. Okay, let's take a look at the 30-minute chart now, because we are currently in a highly important area. For those of you in the comment section, I'll just explain what I'm looking at here. We currently today treated the 50 period here on the 30-minute as a hard area of support, and we are currently testing the 200 period to the upside in the after hours, treating it as an area of resistance. So from a bullish perspective, tomorrow you bulls are going to want to see that 200 period, currently right around 173.90, 174 region, break to the upside, back test, and hold as a new support. That would be a very good thing to see if you're a bull here on the 30-minute chart. Now, if you're a bear, that 200 needs to reject. Okay, that's what you'd be looking for, and that could set us up. A lot of bears, if that were to happen, would be looking down here toward that 50 period for that next area to test. Let's zoom out now to the 4-hour. Now, listen here. Sometimes the 4-hour is really relevant. Sometimes it's not all that relevant. It's really, really relevant here tomorrow. See how we're testing that 50 period? And holding it currently as a area of support. The stock currently right around 174. That 50 period on the 4-hour charts right around 172.70, 172.75. So tomorrow, from a bullish perspective, the bulls are going to be looking for that to hold on the 4-hour. Remember, we're always considering more than one time frame. It's never just one time frame with one indicator. We want as many different things lining up as possible. But from a bullish perspective, looking here specifically at the 4-hour, you're going to want to see that 50 period hold. I don't mind if it's sloppy, just hold above it. Okay. If you're a bear though, obviously a hard downside break and fade beneath that level would be ideal for your positioning, because I think that would be pretty discouraging to quite a few bulls, at least in the very short term. Okay. The same way that a pull away here up toward that 180 region. Just making our way up there, at least, not necessarily having to hit that region, but just making our way up there the same way that would be pretty discouraging, I think, to a lot of bears here in the short term. Let's zoom out now to probably the most important chart of all, which is going to be the daily. Okay, this gives us a little bit of a general but more commonly watched view of what's currently going on here in the stock. Now remember, this is the daily, so it's showing the closing price. Stock's a bit higher as of right now here. But that 174 region we can see on the daily was treated as an area of resistance previously for a couple days in a row, right around over a weekend on the 19th of January to the 22nd of January. So, you know, I mean, listen, it's not like it's been treated as support and resistance 15 times over the last 2 years. This is a very small sample size, but I'm still going to keep an eye on 174 for that reason, because we also have some, you know, supporting factors here back on the 30-minute, looking at that 200 period kind of in the same region. So I'm going to be watching that 174 region, again, from a bullish perspective, ideally breaking and holding that area. Now here on the daily chart, the nearest backstop to the downside, I think you're going to see a lot of bulls arguing that just above 160 region could act as a potential support. I think the most obvious one, because remember, we're always looking for obvious, is all the way down toward 150, just because we haven't spent a whole lot of time up here yet because the stock moved higher so fast. Okay, now that of course could act as a potential safety net if the stock were to fall, you know, from 170 all the way down there. But again, we're 12% away. Just below there is the 50-day moving average trying to make its way upside. I'd prefer to see that get above 150 as soon as possible, just for that additional safety net, because of course that 50-day moving average is going to move upside, that 150 level staying put. And then the next level to the upside here, you know, that all-time high, right around 185, a breakthrough there is kind of the next area to watch if you are a bull looking to the upside past that 174 region. Now for you options traders, consider the implied volatility. It is tanking off. The lower this goes, the more opportunity for new options buyers to benefit from potential future IV pump. But for those of you who have owned options the last few days, you've likely seen and experienced a little bit of IV crush. Not the end of the world, just understand that additional risk factor there. Okay, let's take a look at the options chain, see what the traders are thinking as we head into tomorrow. Real nice sample size here, 826,000 total contracts. Approximately 59% calls, 41% puts here. So leaning a bit to the bullish side on overall call put ratio. That short-term speculation, that's 0 to 20 delta, right? That gives us the best possible short-term data with the biggest sample size, I think, that we're seeing from traders. We're getting 183,000 calls, 144 approximately thousand puts. So not only is it leaning slightly bullish on the overall call put ratio with a good sample size, but also on that short-term speculation call put ratio. But as always, understand the option traders can end up being wrong. If you enjoy these videos, guys, please subscribe to the channel, helps out a lot, and I'll see you in the next one.